Class is in session, my friends. Pulling in my homeschool mom vibes to start this series that I am very excited about. Whether or not this series continues depends on you. Very greatly dependent on whether or not y'all watch, like, comment, enjoy the video, and want more. And you're like, okay, Angie, get to the point. What are we talking about? Today, we are talking about cycle syncing. We're starting the conversation. We're going to go through the basics, and then we can dive deeper in future videos into like more specifics. And if we're not aware what's like driving our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings during a particular phase of our cycle, we might actually listen to that crazy lady in the luteal phase who's telling us that we hate everything. We have to know that like this Angie is not the one to listen to. Follicular phase Angie gets to make lots of decisions that luteal Angie does not, okay? I share these things because they have had an impact in my life, and I want that for other women too who maybe don't know. We are going to go over things that might seem like, duh, everybody knows that, but that's not always true, and it's important. We don't want to be talking past each other. So the first thing we have to do is we have to understand our cycle as a part of our menstrual cycle. And we're just talking about like sort of healthy, typical, normal cycles. All right. You are going to have 4 phases to that cycle. First phase is your period, right? Because your cycle starts on day 1 of your period. That's day 1 of your menstrual cycle. Then you go into your follicular phase. So this is like the phase that's preparing your body for ovulation. Then after that, you go into your ovulatory phase. And that's the time when your body releases the egg in hopes of making a baby. Because even if you don't want to make a baby, your body does every single month until you're through menopause. Then you go into phase 4, which is the luteal phase. This is the phase after ovulation until your next period begins. And if you didn't conceive during the ovulation phase, now your body is sad. There's no baby. I did not make a baby, and I must brace myself to start back at the beginning again. Okay. No matter how you feel, your brain feels about it, your body internally is like, did not achieve the goal. It missed, all right? That's its goal all the time. Each phase of your cycle, each one of those 4 phases actually has a huge impact on your mood, your energy level, your physical appearance. Yes, your physical appearance. You know, sometimes you're like, why did I wake up today and I just feel uglier? The happy side of the internet would be like, girl, stop it. No, you actually probably are a little uglier. It's just the truth, okay? Depending on what phase of our cycle we're in, our skin will start to look dull, our eyes will get like dull and meh. It's Mother Nature, okay? I find this stuff endlessly fascinating and somewhat hilarious, so please don't take it personally, all right? If I make a joke about something and you're like, that's offensive to tell me that I'm ugly. Look, it happens to all of us, okay? I'm not Mother Nature. I didn't create the phases of your cycle. I didn't determine that your skin will be dry and dull and your eyes will be sallow and you'll just look meh. That wasn't my call. Don't take it out on me. The point of all of this, though, is that we are learning to work with our body and not against it, okay? We have never really been taught. If it was taught well, I feel like girls would avoid a lot of mistakes and make better decisions because they would know when can they really trust their gut and their decision making, you know? We're going to talk about 4 major categories during each phase of your cycle, okay? We're going to talk about your mood, your food, your fitness, and love. You got me. You're with me, all right? I'm always telling you to like get a cup of coffee, maybe get a notebook today, friends. Professor Angie is in the house. So when we're in our menstrual phase, this is what some refer to as like your inner winter phase, all right? This is your hibernation phase. This is you're back in the cave, you're hiding out. Our body is like, we did not make a baby. Like, let's go back to the drawing board. So when we're talking about like what to eat during this part of our cycle, this is a great time to focus on warm, easily digestible foods. We don't want to stress our body or strain our body any more than it has to. This is a good soup time. Also a really important time for very nutrient dense foods, as I love to talk about protein, and more fat. It's very easy to snack poorly. And y'all know I love to share with you snacks that I love. Not breaking a healthy eating routine, particularly during this first menstrual phase of your cycle, is really important. That is why I love shopping from places like Thrive Market. They are sponsoring today's video. And I've shared with y'all before, like some of my favorite snacks. It's a great time right now, okay? Because Thrive Market is having a back to school sale. I think this might be the first time they've ever done this. It's like a month-long sale on a lot of their best sellers. I have my entire order right here full of some of my favorite snacks that I want to show you super fast. First thing I want to share with you is this Kodiak Flapjack Power Cup. This has 10 grams of protein. Just add water. Easy. And you're getting 10 grams of protein in your breakfast. You're not sitting there munching on Fruit Loops. Love that. And by the way, if you've never shopped at Thrive Market before, if you've been with me for years, you probably have, because I've been sharing about Thrive Market for like 7 years or something. They have kid snacks too. I got these for my kids, Bob Snail roll. They're fruit rolls, Bob Snail. Things like grass-fed beef jerky. This is 10 grams of protein for this teriyaki beef jerky. I also got the original if you don't like teriyaki. Lara bars are also great. These are the ones that I got for my kids. These are cinnamon swirl. I'll eat them too though. Okay, don't tell the kids. These are the Kodiak Cakes protein-packed muffin mix. I love things like this because I can make them ahead of time. I can make them the night before, and then the next morning we're getting a warm protein-packed breakfast. And even though I homeschool, we all know that once you're back in activities and all of that, back to school, sicky time. So I grabbed some of these Manuka honey drops with ginger and echinacea for those sore, tickly throats that come this time of year, no matter what. I'm obsessed with these Magic Spoon protein bars. I had some of these this weekend at this dog training seminar that my daughter and I went to. There's 12 grams of protein. They're delicious. I love them. I've not tried the marshmallow one, but I'm ready to try this one because it's like Rice Krispie treat. Hello. I'll take it. Yeah. Thrive Market is just my go-to for healthy snacks. They are affordable, they ship quickly, and like I said, they are having their first ever back to school sale. So you can get 25% off, but you can also stack that with my discount. If you join Thrive Market today, you can get 25% off your back to school essentials. Plus, if you go to thrivemarket.com/Angela Braniff, you'll get an extra 30% off your first order and a free gift. That's an amazing deal. We've got some really high protein snacks to choose from for this menstrual phase, the sort of inner winter, if you will. This is also a really great time to reduce your caffeine intake, reduce your alcohol intake, and really try to avoid greasy and overly processed foods, okay? Now let's talk about what you should be eating in your follicular phase of your cycles. This is when it's a great time to eat more like light and vibrant foods, steamed vegetables, sauteed vegetables. The follicular phase is like the feel-good phase. So adding in a lot of fresh herbs, salads, fruit, yogurt, avocados, berries, like you will probably feel more like eating healthier during this time. It's kind of considered your inner springtime, right? So in springtime, we want to be like kind of light on our feet. And then you go on to your ovulation phase. This is kind of, again, considered like your inner summertime. And the food during this time is like really fiber-rich food. Fish, nuts, avocado. We can stay with our protein, our salmon, eggs, things like that. A great time to incorporate like the dark leafy greens into our diet during this time. Smoothies, juices, fresh fruit. It's not that you can't eat these other foods like anytime. It's just about like what's going to kind of best support your body at this time and the specific nutrients that it needs. Your body does work. It's an energy expender to digest food. So we want to make it easier during certain times. Our body can do a little more work during other times. So it's not that you can't eat these things. Like I'm saying, don't have a smoothie while you're on your period. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just kind of trying to give you the list of best practices. So then we go into our inner fall, which is the luteal phase, okay? Fall. I love the fall, okay? It doesn't have such a positive connotation in this case, okay? We're gonna see a decrease in energy. We'll talk about that. This is a great time to think about like squash, sweet potato, healthy fats and proteins. But again, reducing, like going back on the sugar, the caffeine, the alcohol, you know, peak performance kind of thinking. It's not that you can't, it's just you're not helping yourself any, right? It is a time for complex carbs, some higher fiber foods, and yay, a slightly higher caloric intake as well. So that's what we're eating during the 4 phases of our cycle. Now let's talk a little bit about, like, just really quickly, when I say mood, I'm talking more just like energy and like kind of overall. So obviously during that first phase, the menstrual phase in that inner winter, you are going to be low energy. Who's like, I'm on my period, I feel fantastic, like let's go. You're typically very low energy. There's reasons for that, obviously, but this is a time to focus on getting really good sleep. Let yourself get that 8 to 9 hours of sleep if you possibly can. Start your morning a little slower. So instead of having these rigid morning routines that are every single day and then wondering why you fail them, well, maybe you need to have them kind of flow with, and that's the whole point, right? Is that we're syncing our life and our choices with our cycle, which is hopefully going to help set us up for success in a lot of these things that we want to do. So this is the time for sleep, heat packs, resting. A lot of people like to journal during this time. It's a good time for rest and reflection and evaluation. With friends and spouses, it's great for, maybe you and your husband to have some little cuddle movie nights on the sofa, things that are comforting to you, and not like, let's go out to the bars and dance, and like maybe not during this time. Cozy, think cozy, winter, right? So then we move back again to the follicular phase. Energy wise, during this time, your energy is going to begin to increase. You're going to start to feel good and like, yeah, I can do stuff, right? So this is a great time to take on more creative tasks, to do some brainstorming. Instead of so much like reflection, now we're like, let's get some ideas flowing and going. Let's be a little more creative. Maybe let's test and try some new stuff. The follicular phase is your friend. This is a much better time to consider being social, going out for walks, going on dates if you're in the dating world, bless your heart. Productivity is probably going to be better and higher during this time. Then of course we move on to the ovulation phase around, day 15 to 20 in your summer phase. Your energy is going to be its highest at this time. Your focus is going to be its like best and most intense. This is your like best self, okay? Your ovulation self is your best self. Your face is the prettiest, your boobs are the perkiest. If you have a chance to schedule it, you want to be doing your public speaking. You want to be doing your networking events, attending big social events and things. Like this is the time where you're just kind of naturally bringing your best self. And then we have our luteal phase, again, our inner fall. You're going to start to see your energy just start to significantly decrease. This is when we want to be like wrapping up projects, doing more admin work, maybe focus on some organization, finer details, kind of finishing things up. Like this is when we think about the things you do that are calming, like walks, like calming hobbies, reading, chill date nights if you're going to do them, like nothing crazy or chaotic. This is not your like high energy self, okay? This is much more your lower and lowering rapidly energy. Okay, so speaking of energy, let's talk about the kind of workouts to do during each of these phases of your cycle. So when you are in your menstrual phase, when it comes to working out, this is actually a great time to focus on very low impact workouts, resting, not having like super high expectations of yourself. Maybe yoga, meditation, stretching, some light Pilates, lighter weights, lighter on yourself, all right, during this time. Then you move on to your follicular phase and you can really start to pump it up, all right? Maybe do some like weight training, cardio, hiking, like more intense hiking. Great time to do the sauna, great time to be doing more cardio-based workouts. You're gonna have the energy for that during this time. Now, when you're getting into your ovulation phase, you really can like up it again, take another like click up the ladder. Really build up the strength training, the strength and weight training, increase your weights during this time. Dance if you like Zumba and stuff, because in this like ovulation phase, you are really in your like feminine energy during this time, okay? Because this is the time when your body's like, we need to make a baby, we need to get pregnant. So you're very, even naturally, your gait, the way you walk and stuff can change during this time. I'm telling you, it's wild, okay? This is just totally random. We're gonna talk about this in future videos because right now we're just kind of focusing on these kind of main pillars of each phase. But there's like phases where you love music more, like you're really into listening to music, and then other times where you're not so much. This is a great like music time, the dance, the movement, all of that. You're feeling it during the ovulation phase. And then we move into the luteal phase. It always just feels like such a letdown, luteal letdown, man. Okay, so this is the time when you want to kind of moderate those workouts, lower the impact workouts, kind of stick with a lighter cardio, walking. We can still do some strength training, incorporate more of that like stretching, yoga, meditation type things. Start to lower the weights, back down, back off. So like back off the more intense workouts at this time. Just think of this as a great time to start being a little gentler with yourself so that you can ease into that menstrual phase a little more smoothly. All right, let's talk for just a quick second about the, brown chicken, brown cow. Last time I said that, somebody left a comment. They're like, I don't get it. I'm like, Brown chicken, brown, brown. But I'm a dork, so I say brown chicken, brown cow. All right, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I find this super fascinating because I think we all like probably know this inherently, but sometimes we don't act on it, and you should act on it, and your spouse probably appreciate if you act on it too. So during your menstrual phase, your interest in that sort of brown chicken, brown cow will be probably low. There's a few of y'all out there that that's not true for. I don't get it, but you do you. It'll probably be low during this time, okay? So this is a great time to focus on those buzzwords of self-care, but truly taking care of yourself, like lowering the expectations in that realm, okay? We're on our period, right? Leave me alone. During the follicular phase, you're gonna be feeling a little more creative, shall we say, a little more willing to try out some new things, you know? Test the waters on some stuff, okay? You might be just like a little more randy, all right? A little more randy, definitely more randy than you were during the menstrual phase. Probably not as randy as you will be in the next phase, which is the ovulatory phase. Even if you ain't trying to make a baby, your body is doing things and thinking about things that your brain is not. And so this is a great time. It's a great time. It's a great time. Increase it. No husband's going to be like, oh, yeah, so 6 times this week and then nothing last week. Whatever, feast or famine, they just want it. They don't care. This is the time where I will tell you something that, you know, I don't usually advise in almost any scenario. But like, look, sometimes quantity over quality is still fine for everybody. And other times you're like, no, it is quality over quantity. This is a time where it could just be quantity over quality for you. Who knows? It's interesting, but start to like write these things down, track them, see how you're feeling. Like during your luteal phase, as I like to say, you're going to need more help to get the water boiling. This is gonna be so gross, but this is like my favorite analogy for this. You guys are probably not as white trash as I am that you don't boil hot dogs. You boil the water, then you drop the hot dog in the water, the boiling water. You can't put the hot dog into like just cold water on the stove and expect it to cook. It's not gonna cook. The water has to get warm. It has to boil. It doesn't just start boiling immediately. It has to like start bubbles, rolling, boil. Now we're boiling. This is a time when it's gonna take more work for the water to boil, okay? Sometimes, like during the ovulation phase, you can turn that on and the water will boil much faster. During the luteal phase, it's gonna take some more work to get to that rolling boil, okay? I also think it's really helpful too for spouses to understand this, because it's not just like, oh, you're just being mean, you're in a bad mood. No, like legitimately, hormonally, inner chemistry of the body. Because guess what? Again, I say this, like we have to understand the very animalistic nature of us as humans and as mammals. Like, this is a time when if you're not already pregnant, you're not gonna get pregnant according to your body. So it's like, whatever, like, that's not gonna do anything because your body doesn't care about like intercourse with no purpose. It cares about intercourse with the explicit purpose of conceiving a human being baby. We have to understand that, yeah, it's gonna take a little more work to boil that water, to turn that car engine over. I'm gonna have to like wrench it a few times, you know? Just being aware of this is incredibly helpful. And again, if you already knew all this, you're like, duh. But if you didn't, you might be having a couple of light bulb moments with like, you know? Like I do not allow myself to make any important decisions during my like luteal phase and really not much into my menstrual, like a few days into my menstrual phase either, okay? I'm like, nope, if I feel like I wanna like throw this away, I want to sell the house, I want to quit my job, like any kind of like big decision, I always say, okay, I'm allowed to feel this way, I'm allowed to think that, I have to give myself 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, if I still feel this way, then I can act on it. I can make that decision, I can make that big call, because I never still feel that way in 2 weeks. Why? Luteal Angie is not a great decision maker. She just doesn't make good choices. There's so much more that I want to go over when we talk about cycle syncing. There's so much more that we can consider and things like that beyond just these couple things that we've talked about. But I feel like hopefully this gives us a baseline to start to open up this dialogue, open up this conversation, and understand the 4 phases of our cycle. If you didn't, we go through hormonal fluctuations, but they're actually very steady. Our hormones do not have those like high spikes and lows daily like men's do. They have like this type of roller coaster every day from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. So if they're like, oh, women, they're so hormonal, it's actually them that have the like everyday spikes. We are pretty consistent in these 4 phases, and how we feel, again, given that all things are normal and working normally, then this is pretty standard. I think it's fascinating to understand this stuff and to know kind of like what is going on in our bodies at all times. And it helps me to know when I can listen to myself and when I probably shouldn't, which I find very helpful because I am very persuasive. And so, yeah, I might convince myself to do the very wrong thing. And it's nice to know that the reasons behind it are like a little bit figment of my imagination and not so real. And if I still feel that way or still am thinking that in like a week or 2, it might actually be real and worth listening to, right? I find it endlessly fascinating and helpful. So let me know in the comments if you are interested in more of this topic, if you want to keep talking about this. I will not inundate you, but like maybe 1 or 2 videos a month on this topic. Don't forget to check out Thrive Market. Eating and how you eat and what you eat during these phases, it really can have an impact on how you feel. And it's all about just kind of giving our body what it needs, when it needs it, when it can use it most. And so I love that Thrive Market offers all the healthy snacks. And of course, the back to school sale going on right now where you can get 25% off. Plus, if you go to thrivemarket.com/Angela Braniff, you can stack that with the 30% off discount and you get a free gift. It's a fabulous deal, okay? It's fabulous. I love that. That's it for me. Please subscribe if you haven't. Come back for more if you can still stand me, and I will hopefully see you again very soon.